Most players get stuck in rank because they don't really know how to adjust their playstyles once they climb ranks. Today, I'm going to be breaking down a roadmap from bronze all the way to top 250 and showing you guys what it really does take to get there. I'm going to make sure to go over everything that I think you guys should know to get out of every single rank and make yourself the best possible player. Let's start off with bronze and silver. This is what I like to call the foundation ranks. If you're stuck here, it's probably because you don't have that much time into Call of Duty. So let's go over some of the basics and mechanics. One of the most important mechanics that I think even some of the best players in the world don't do, and that is making sure that you have proper centering. Centering is pretty much just making sure that the center dot in the center of your screen is where you think the enemy is going to be. I'm going to play this clip and I want you to see what he does. Focus on his center dot here. Okay, notice how he lost that gunfight. So let me break this down. Where his center dot right here is placed is at the bottom left corner of this staircase. Right here. This would only be good centering if he thought the enemy was laying down. But more than likely, the enemy will be standing up or crouching or coming up the stairs. He then has to readjust his aim to get to the target, which does lose vital seconds. From here, he's got to reposition there, aim for the chest, but at that point, the enemy is already looking at him. In contrary, look at how the enemy killed him. His center dot is where he thinks the enemy is about to be. He's already pre-aimed and it gets an instant kill. Now let's look at another example. This is Adrian. I want you to pay close attention to where he's putting his center dot in correlation to where the enemy is going to be. So he gets shot right here from behind, and watch where he puts his center dot where he thinks the enemy is going to be. He readjusts, aiming at this guy in front of him, pre-fire, shoots, gets the knock on him. Now right here, he's gonna get this full kill on this guy, and there's going to be a ping on the top left of your map. Right here. Zoom in on this top left right here, and I want you to see there's another guy that's about to come out through this door. So what is Adrian gonna do? He doesn't walk out the door looking in front of him. He goes out and he pre-aims the door that he thinks he's gonna go to. Watch this. Comes out. He knows there's a guy here and then shoots at him. And as you can see, Unk and him were going crazy. Now, yes, I know Adrian is very skilled, but it's a lot of these little things that he does that makes him that good. Centering, I'm telling you, is incredibly important. And if you are not focusing on your centering, you are not going to be the best possible version of yourself. Now, another big mistake that a lot of ranked players make is they don't really prioritize the best guns in the game. 90% of the time, you're going to go on TikTok and you're going to see all these content creators saying, this is the best meta build. In reality, a lot of them are just going for TikTok views. In public matches, you can get away with using these fun loadouts, but when it comes to rank, you quite literally have to use the meta builds. If not, you are simply putting yourself at a disadvantage. Let's take a look at this clip and I want you to see how bad this gun actually is. I mean, thermal with this crazy sight, double SOGs, the AMAX. I mean, wow. Try to use this on rank. I dare you. Let me give you guys an example of what exactly I mean. Right now, September 14th, the meta is the Kilo. And I get a lot of people in my chat saying, why aren't you using the AMAX? The AMAX is better. But if we head over to community and we use these time to kill charts, you're going to see that the Kilo is just far superior. So on this graph, the lower they are on this, the better. So here, everything up until 62 meters, the Kilo is significantly better. That means for Resurgence, there is really no reason why anybody should be rocking the AMAX. The Kilo has a time to kill of 640 milliseconds, while the AMAX has a time to kill of 665. Now, I know if you're watching this, you're probably thinking 25 milliseconds doesn't make that big of a difference. But again, if you're playing against the best players in the world, all fighting for SR, every millisecond counts. Now remember that time to kill is not everything. A gun can have an insane time to kill, but if it has horrible handling, then it's not really worth using. For example, this is the AEK. It has really good time to kill, up to 40 meters, but the handling is just not that good. It just has too much recoil to be competitive. So always make sure you are using the top meta classes. Now the final thing for this section, I think, is make sure you know about the information that you're given. This can go as far as whenever you get a knock, make sure you're always looking at your minimap. The game gives you intel of where the enemies are. Some teams even go as far as to pull their chute to see where the enemies normally are and where they're landing. Thus telling you where you should go to if you want kills or where you should avoid if you don't. This is probably one of the biggest tips I can give you guys, because a lot of people come into my chat and come into other streamers' chats and they're always like, oh, why are you looking to your left? Why are you looking to your left? Insinuating that these players are cheating. But in reality, the top players in the world probably look at their minimap more than what's actually in front of them. Minimap is there to give you vital information and make sure that you're using it. Now moving on to section number 2, and this is gold to platinum. Call of Duty recently released data saying that the majority of players are stuck in gold when it comes to rank. So more than likely, if you're watching this video, you're probably stuck here. Pay attention to this section. But once you get the basics out of the way, you should be able to get through bronze and silver pretty easily. But there are a few things you got to get nailed down to make gold and platinum feel just as easy. So first and foremost, let's get this out of the way. Stop ego challing. We all think we look like this when we ego chow. That was insane. But in reality, this is probably what we look like. Oh God, this is...
Oh shit, what the fuck?
Oh my God. Very often, players stay in fights a little bit too long and get a little bit too confident, ultimately leading to their deaths. There are way more chances to disengage from fights than you actually realize. We call this a reset. Go and watch a lot of your favorite streamers when they're playing actual tournaments, and a lot of the times their in-game leader will call out, let's reset this fight. And all that means is to slow down, disengage, and then re-engage to get a better position. So right here, this player is about to get the knock, but watch what he does immediately after. Right here, gonna get a knock on one. Right here, instantly. What I would do in this situation is hug the left wall and then try to re-engage on the other guy, or hug the left wall to get out of line of sight and jump down. Watch what he does instead. Instead, he goes for the full kill instantly. This is what I mean about some players getting a little bit too kill hungry. Right there, I understand that there was 3 players that he possibly couldn't have done anything, but the best players in the world can actually get out of that. When it comes to ranked, you want to try and break down trios into 3 separate 1v1s. If you're constantly taking 1v2s, 1v3s, you reduce your chances of winning the gunfight. Next is rotations. Rotations aren't the most important, but they still are very important. When it comes to BR ranked, it's a completely different story, but let's stick to resurgence. Knowing where you are in relation to the zone is going to get you out of a lot of sticky situations. Bringing out your map and constantly seeing where's the next zone, where do I have the higher probability of winning the game? These are the questions that you have to constantly be asking yourself. I've seen so many gold and platinum players push out of zone for kills when they necessarily don't need it. Knowing how to rotate, where to rotate, and where to put yourself in correlation to the enemies is a skill that can be developed. All that to say is, every single circle, constantly see where you are in correlation to the zone, and do you have time to take a gunfight and then rotate in? Or ask yourself, is it the smarter play to rotate early and fight in zone? The key tool to develop at this rank is to know the callouts and to know the names of certain buildings. If you play with a friend group, make sure that you guys all know what certain buildings are called. One of the most undervalued skills in Warzone is having good communication with your teammates. If you have a teammate that is very good at calling out and painting a picture for you, it's going to feel like your teammate is a walking UAV. It goes without saying that everybody should know the main POIs and their names. Control, headquarters, living quarters, stronghold, etc. But there's a couple different callouts that are a little bit more specific. For example, if you zoom in right here onto control center, these little tents are what people call tents. Living quarters, a lot of people refer to these bottom right living quarters right here as living quarters, and then this building right here as green. So instead of just calling out a general direction, hey, they're all in living quarters, you can be more specific and be like, hey, he's on the 3rd floor of green. Or when you're landing back on your teammate, you can ask your teammate, hey, what floor are you on so I can land on you? A lot of the times control center gets super mixy, and the difference between landing 2nd floor versus landing 3rd floor with your teammate can cost you a team wipe. So make sure you are in constant communication with your team. Shoot, I'll be honest, go as far as getting in a Discord with you and your team and go over and even make custom callouts. I know that sounds crazy, but hey, some people want it, some people don't. Having good communication is also very important to make sure that you guys don't get team wiped, and in turn, helping your teammates trade each other out. You don't want to end up like these guys. Let's watch what happens here.
Lacey, get ready to fight. Lacey, get ready to fight.
I'm ready, I'm ready.
Lacey,
Gets one.
Lacey, shoot your gun, Lacey.
Yep. Fuck, bro, you cheating, bro.
Oh my god, bro. Not real.
Niggas got dumb. I don't know why we're pushing that anyway.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Bad balls like that, bro. That's a horrible
Oh,
call.
it's the freest 2-piece ever. Your fat ass just doesn't know how to hit L2 and R2.
Bro, yeah,
Like, what the fuck?
That team definitely didn't have the best communication. Now here's an example of good comms.
That might kill him. That might kill him. That might kill him.
Classic corners now.
Yo, I knocked one.
Look at Diaz constantly calling out.
Crack the guy, Chris.
20 dead.
Come here.
Mind you now,
Outside, D.
We gotta kill this guy on Hector first.
Yeah.
See how we're constantly calling out where the enemies are at? I want you guys to also remember, I played with Diaz Biffle for like 8 years of my life. A lot of the times, him and I don't really have to say anything. And if you don't have that type of level of communication with your teammate or team chemistry, then it is required to constantly call things out. I'm going to play that clip back, but I want you guys to see how Diaz communicates with myself and how Swag also gets himself in the mix.
That might kill him.
Right here, Diaz is talking about how there's a cluster in the game, and he's saying that might kill him, that might kill him.
Classic corners.
Right here, I'm calling out this guy is crossing toward us while Diaz is looking over me on the top left.
Crouching towards now.
Yo, I knocked one with the PA.
Diaz calling out that his PA knocked one. So I'm automatically assuming the guy that he just knocked is the guy that just crossed in.
See that guy.
Let's get closer now.
Right there, I call out, is it the guy close or not? And then he gets full killed. So it is the guy that he did knock with the PA. My focus then turns towards the two guys coming in from zone.
Crack the guy.
Right here, I'm telling Chris, hey, I cracked the guy. He's free for you to chow.
Chris.
I make sure to let him know that it's Chris that I'm talking to. Chris goes in, calls out one, he dead. Now we got to focus on this last guy. Notice on what Diaz says right here.
On me.
Mind you now.
Outside, D.
Right here, Chris makes a call out.
20 dead.
On me.
I call out that there's a guy on me.
Mind you now.
Outside.
Chris is saying behind you now to Diaz. But watch what Diaz says next. Diaz pretty much tells Swag, hey, we don't got to worry about behind us right now. We have to focus on the guy on Hector first. He does that for two reasons. One, to make sure that I have help so I don't die. The longer all three of us can stay alive in a ranked game, the better chance we have of winning. But more importantly, look at the circle zone. Diaz is pretty much saying we have to kill this guy so our whole back can be cleared so we can rotate into green and then win the game. I know what Diaz is thinking, again, because I played with him for the last 8 to 10 years of my life. Right here, I'm calling this guy out. I'm trying not to chow this guy, and I'm waiting to get some help from the boys.
Yeah.
Dead. Last guy.
Here.
Right here, this guy's in. Last guy here.
Running back.
I'm not
Right,
challenging.
watch out.
I trust Diaz to go and take that one. I'm going to sit back in Storm and try and play for the win. This is the last guy, so I could have pushed with him, but I wanted just to secure the dub no matter what.
Got a bullet. Let's go, baby.
He gets him, and he's dead. And that is just one of many games that we play together. A lot of the times, people don't really think a lot of this stuff is important. But again, painting the picture for your teammates separates good players from great. Now moving on to Diamond and Crimson. And this is where things start to get really interesting. Once you get to the higher ranks, you're going to be needing a lot more kills to keep gaining SR through these higher ranks. The most efficient way to get kills is to get your loadout as quick as possible and then get into the mix. You get as much money as possible for advanced UAVs and then fly. The whole thought process behind this is making sure you are being as efficient as possible when playing the game. Now, I want you guys to pay attention on how Gabe's team is about to play this. Their main priority right now is get as much money as possible. This is in a big tournament against the best players in the world. Noob is going to drop on the supply drop while Dongi pulls his chute and waits to land on it. They're about to get an insane amount of money in such little time. Watch this. Right here, Gabe is going to drop down and just focus on looting. Dongi again is going to pull his chute while Noobs is going to drop down and get that supply run. Right here, Noobs gets the supply run. Now Dongi's going to land on that supply run and he's going to break his legs because that counts as completing it. Now, look at what Noobs is doing immediately after that. He knows that Dongi's about to finish that supply run and Noobs is about to get another supply run. Watch this. He breaks his legs. Supply run completed. Now Noob's got another one. Now when Dongi comes back, he can land on another supply drop, get more money again. And watch what Gabe is doing throughout this whole process. He's looting up, getting as much money as possible, waiting for the supply run to be done so that way he can get another one. Looting up as well, getting as much money as possible. Watch this. Drops down, finishes that supply run. They already have $14,000 and they're about to get another supply run. A lot of these lower ranking teams won't really try to do this. They're not really focused on having economy. They're more focused on just surviving to the end game. But when it comes to Resurgence ranked, you can't just survive. You have to actually be good at killing players. And a way to help kill players is to have advanced UAVs. But to get advanced UAVs, you have to have money. Economy is super important when it comes to Resurgence, so make sure you guys are focusing constantly on your economy. Now, after doing all that and making sure you have a lot of economy, watch how Gabe and his team prioritize one thing and one thing only, and that is advanced UAVs. Right here, they buy 3 advanced UAVs while they're still on a most wanted. That most wanted is going to finish because they're going to get kills and they're going to get even more money. Thus, in turn, cycling their advanced UAVs as much as possible. The best teams in the world will make sure that they always have economy, always have advanced UAVs up. That is exactly what Gabe, Dongi, and Noobs are doing here. Now, let's move on to Iridescent and Top 250. This is what we call the elite. These ranks, you know how to play the game right, you know how to shoot your gun straight. A lot of it is just in-game decision making. I'm going to lean heavily here on mid-game adaptations. If you watch any of the top 250 players in the world, because a lot of them do stream, you'll notice that they change their playstyles depending on how good the lobby is. Sometimes there are top 250 lobbies that actually feel like everybody is in the top 250. And sometimes there are lobbies that feels like everybody's a gold. Now let me address the elephant in the room. We all know that cheaters run wild when it comes to ranked play. There's no secret. At the higher ranks, you will get a cheater almost every single game. But notice how some of the best players in the world adjust their playstyles as soon as they know there's a cheater in the lobby. Because this is Resurgence, it is a lot easier to get the cheaters out of the game because you have two teammates. Any one of you guys can call out if there's a cheater in the lobby, and then you can then focus on getting that team out. One thing that Swag Diaz and myself always do is as soon as we know there's a cheater in the lobby, we instantly play for them. We try to get as much money as possible, and we get an advanced UAV, and we try to wipe that team as much as we can. As long as we don't take a negative hit, we're okay. But cheaters can only lock on to one head. So we always buddy up and try to engage on the cheater first. Then we focus on as fast as possible getting his teammates out to then secure the team wipe. Now, another thing that separates iridescent players from top 250 players is how they reset when they're having a bad game. The goal here is always to reset your bad games into good. A perfect example of this is Destroy. Now, I know this is BR and we're talking about Resurgence, but the same rules apply. Destroy focuses on getting an LTV truck because it's harder to kill him there, and then he focuses on getting a recon and getting his teammates up. Knowing what contracts you need, how much money they give you, and having situational awareness to know how to get your teammates up as fast as possible is very important. Fast forward a couple minutes, and here is Destroy with all his team up. And that is because Destroy knows how much money contracts give you. He knows that an LTV gives him a higher probability of staying in the game. I see so many times, especially in Resurgence, a lot of lower ranked players constantly land back on their loot, knowing full well that there's an enemy team there. Don't get me wrong, I do this as well, but if you do want to re-engage to take control of a POI when you initially lost it off rip, you have to make sure that you have one teammate playing their life or anchoring. Anchoring, as we call it, is what we refer to as a player playing their life. They're either on a water tower, on another tower, or somewhere else, making sure that they don't die to make sure that their teammates can stay up and get kills. Making sure that you know the roles of your teammate is very important. I'm gonna give an example of a player that maybe isn't the best in the game, but he's very smart and he knows how to play the game right. That player will probably be your anchor. He's gonna do all the high IQ plays and he's gonna make sure that your team makes it to endgame. Then if you have somebody, let's say like Diaz Biffle, who's incredibly talented in gun skill, you are going to make him your fragger. You are going to give him everything that he needs to go and fry. And then you have your support players, which that's pretty much what I do whenever I play with Diaz. I'm the first one in a room making sure that all the bullets go to me while Diaz can pick up all the cleanups. And my job as the support is to pretty much support the team. Now, lastly, and possibly the most important tip is your mental is everything. The mindset that you go into in ranked will determine the outcome of your session. If you go in there confident, knowing that you are as good as you think you are, you will do significantly better than if you think that you're not great and you're going to get smoked. Having the it's never chalk mentality will get you through these rank sessions on the high ranks. Take a look at Destroying his team right here. They're about to get wiped, but I want you to see how they come and regain.
We haven't seen pulled up, then Maddie's team pulled up from Stadium, and we're fighting these other teams.
They're instantly talking about how they died, and I want you to see what Destroy does here. Destroy is a very humble competitor, and right here he instantly says what he did wrong and what he can do to improve.
Should have never got blooded by those guys in Stadium. My bad, man. I got a little confused on what level he was on. I thought he was higher.
The type of teammate that you have to be if you want to succeed in this, whether it's competing in World Series or Warzone or just competing in ranked. Knowing when to take accountability and how to improve and knowing that you're not the best in the world will take you a long way. Bronze and silver, make sure you have your mechanics and your centering down really good. For gold and platinum, your game sense is going to be what takes you to the next level. Make sure your positioning is good and your rotations are on point. Ego chow, and make sure you and your teammates all know callouts to each building. For diamond and crimson, it's all about consistency. Make sure you're being efficient with your looting, minimizing the time to loot. Make sure you're constantly focused on economy. Money is everything in this game. Make sure you have advanced UAVs and you have money to buy streaks in the end game. Lastly, for Iridescent and top 250, make sure you and your team know their roles. What each individual member of your team brings to the table and what they don't. Focus on how you guys can boost each other up and how you guys can supplement each other's weaknesses. And focusing on the mental aspect of it all. I encourage everybody watching this video to watch your gameplay and really break it down. Be very hard on yourself and see what you can do to improve. Figure out what are the things that you're lacking and what are the things that you could use help on. Let me know in the comments down below what is your rank, and I hope all these tips helped even just a little bit.